What's up guys, hope you are having an amazing day. Welcome back to the channel. So as you've already seen the title of the video, I'm here to just show off a little bit, which it's something honestly I didn't see myself doing. I mean, I like it when I watch people talk about their cameras and gears and stuff like that. But mostly on this channel, I want to show more of my behind the scenes videos and taking photos and just like my process and stuff like that. But the truth is, this week I had no video. I had some shoot that I was planning that didn't end up happening. And I just like yesterday, on Friday, and then yesterday Saturday, today is Sunday, that means you're watching this video tomorrow, which is Monday. I was just procrastinating about like one particular thing that I wanted to do to show on the channel, but again my lazy butt didn't make it happen. And today I was just laying in bed thinking about what I'm going to do. I don't know. I had no video to post, so I just thought maybe, hey, let me be a real YouTuber for now and talk about my gear and some cameras that I've used in the past, what I have now that I use and stuff like that. So that's the truth. Didn't have any video. Let's just talk about and nerd about cameras. I'm going to try to make this video as short as possible. But I know it's just like when you are talking about cameras, you can take hours and hours talking about just one camera. So I'm going to try as much as possible to make it very short, which means I have to stop talking now and go talk about the cameras. Anyway, in no particular order, I'm just going to pick and choose and just talk about whichever my hand grabs. And then also I will share a few photos, my favorite from each camera that I've taken with. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let's get back to it. All right, the first camera I'm going to talk about is this Canon A1, and as you guys can see, it's coming apart and then there is no lens on it, which means this guy is retired. So this is like basically my ever first camera that I bought myself in a camera shop. My very first film camera I bought it from my friend Sean, and that was like my first time shooting film. He was the one that introduced me to it, and then he let me borrow that, and then after I shot it and got my roll back, I was hooked. The film bug bit me, and then I'm like, I think I'm just gonna keep this. So I bought that from him. I used it for a while, but it felt like I was still using my digital because I could use my digital lenses on it, and it has like automatic features and stuff. And I just wanted the manual, like you have to know every single thing you are doing and adjusting. And that is why I went in and bought myself this camera. I remember exactly the day when I walked into Midwest Photo to get this camera. It has served me well, but unfortunately it started having problems. First of all, the curtains started like showing up in my photos, and then secondly, it was in my studio and my friend came in, picked it up, and then when he laid it down, after some hours I picked it up and the shutter wouldn't fire, so it looks like it broke or it just died on me. I changed the battery in it. I've tried to like take it apart with a friend and try to like fix it, but it is retired. So that is it. That is my Canon A1. These are some few photos that I took with it that are some of my favorite from this camera. All right, the second camera we're going to talk about is this Minolta Freedom Mark II. I picked this boy up at a thrift store. One day I just wanted to like go thrifting and just see if I'll be able to find anything, which was inspired by King James. That's it. Yeah, I saw this guy, picked it up. It was $4. I even did a video about it, and I loved it. I thought it was a camera that I was going to use for a long time, but it didn't last. It also stopped working all of a sudden. Like, you put battery in it and then you turn it on, it will pretend like it's rewinding itself and stop, and then the fire, like, it doesn't do anything. So it's just now like on the shelf, and then sometimes when my daughter comes in there and point at cameras wanting one, I just pick it up and give it to her. I used to have battery in it, and then she would just like, when you have a battery in it with no film, it fires. Once you put film in it, it doesn't make sense. But yeah, I just give it to her, put battery in it, and she would just basically point it at herself and just fire flash in her eyes. And I didn't want her doing that, and that is why I took the battery out, because she keeps, as much as I show her you have to hold it this way, she keeps turning it around and just firing light in her eyes. So these are a few photos that I took with this. All right, let's go on this little guy. So I have all these cameras that I use, but sometimes I just feel like I don't want to manual focus. I feel like I just want to point and shoot, and that is basically what this camera is, point and shoot. But I was looking into getting the XA. Is it XA2? One, it's a little bit pricey, and then two, it's basically not a point and shoot, as you can say, because it has like the aperture and stuff that you have to like deal with and stuff. I mean, that is not the reason why I didn't get it, but the reason why I didn't get it is because of the price. So someone posted his Instagram that he was selling this for, I think, $40 or so. I think either I bought it at 40 or less, but I offered him something, and then he like accepted it as soon as possible, and I was glad that he did, because I love this guy, love this little guy, and thanks to him, he even drove it all the way to my place and delivered it to me. So this is the Olympus Stylus Zoom. I love this camera. I remember when I first got it, I didn't shoot my Leica for a long time, and I would like take it and put it in my pocket. All I do is just pop it open, just flash it, and I have a roll in here. I always make sure I have a roll in there. Now I've shot like 19, so I always make sure I have a roll in here so I can just pick it up and go whenever I want to. So it's still in use. I still love it. The Olympus Stylus Zoom. I like the fact that it goes from 35 to 70, even though I barely use the 70. I think I've used the 50. The first time I got it, I think I shot the 35, 50, and 70. That's like the zoom where it goes. But now I just like leave it at 35 because I love shooting 35 now. So I just leave it as that. I don't zoom or anything. So these are some few photos that I took with this little guy. Mostly it's like family photos and stuff like that. So that's it, the Olympus Stylus Zoom. Now, the next camera is this Nikon, what is it? Nikon Action Touch. Now, there is a little story about this camera. This camera is it's not mine, I would say, but I bought it. My wife really at some point really liked taking photos. She wanted to try and get into film because I was shooting it. The bug bit her a little bit and she wanted one. So I went to the camera shop to buy film, and I seen this and I thought it has autofocus and auto features. I'm like, it's going to be easy for her to use. And so I bought this camera for her so she can take photos whenever she wants to take photos on film. But she's not been using it as much as she wanted to, because the first and second time that she used it, she said the photos came out blurry. I mean, not her. I developed the film, so I knew the photos came out blurry. But it's just a few features on here that I just needed to show her. So kind of in my collection. I bought it to gift it to her, but now it's like mine. Wink, wink. Love you, babe. But yeah, I bought this for my wife, and I hope she will use it as much as she wants to. Maybe I will end up giving her the Olympus Stylus because it's much easier to use. I feel like this has a few buttons that like confuses her. So I'm not a Nikon fan. So when I bought this, she was surprised. She was like, "What? You bought a Nikon?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's not for me. That's why I bought it." So that's it. When she said it wasn't focusing well, I ended up shooting it myself, and I think it was focused. So these are a few photos from it. The next camera that I want to talk about is my very trusty Canon Ftb, and I love this camera. I really do. Thank you, Dave, for gifting me this camera. At some point when my Canon A1 broke, I didn't have any 35 film, and so my friend Dave let me borrow this. I asked him if he had any that he would sell to me. So he let me borrow it to shoot it and see if I liked it. And then he messaged me, I think it was on Christmas or so, and he said, "Take that camera as a Christmas gift." I was like, oh my God, thank you so much, Dave. But anyway, yeah, he gifted it to me and I love it. I loved it. I love the color. I love the way it feels. The only thing that has made me put this camera away a little bit is the back focusing glass dropped inside, which was caused by me trying to clean it because I felt it was dirty, my OCD. And then I opened the top plate and fixed it myself, and then I lost something. So this thing keeps coming in and out. And if you've watched my previous video, the self-portrait thing, I ended up using it because it has a self-timer. And so it's still useful. I mean, I don't shoot it as much as I used to, but these are some of the reasons that will let me keep going back to it, which is the self-timer that it has. And then I also shot it when I was doing the comparison film between Kodak Gold and Ultra Max. So very useful camera. I love it. Never going to sell it. It's gonna be with me forever. So thank you again, Dave, for this camera. Now, the next camera we're going to talk about is the almighty Leica M4P. And like I said, in no particular order. So I love this camera. Obviously, you pay so much for it, so you have to love it. But no, it's not just because of the price. But yeah, Anybody that hates on Leica, I think hate Leica for their prices and not because of the camera itself. Most people have not even have the opportunity to use it. And I was fortunate enough that my friend Dave owned a Leica, and when we were in New York, he gave it to me to just hold it for him because a street performer called him to be part of his performance. And whilst he was in line with the performer, I just thought maybe let me take a photo for him to just document that moment. And it was at night. In New York, you guys know there's a ton of light, but then it sometimes goes dim and very bright, which it's very tricky to use, especially when that time I was still using this Canon Ftb. So it was very hard for me to focus at night when I was using that. But I took his camera. He has the MA. Correct me, Dave, if I'm wrong in the comments. And I took it to my eye, took a photo, came up pretty sharp, decent. And yeah, that was when I realized I need a Leica, because it was so easy for me to focus. It was so quick. It was so fast. The camera felt so nice in my hands. It felt good. The Leica bug bit me. I came home, went on the internet, started searching and looking at Leica cameras. I wanted the M6, but at that time, one, my money couldn't reach M6 price. And then two, it was very hard for me to find. At that time, I felt like at that time, nobody was selling their M6. So after some weeks of researching and looking at Leica cameras on YouTube, Dave sent me a link. There is a Facebook group where I think it's Leica Classified, where people post Leica cameras and lenses and stuff on there to sell. And this came up. It was a good price. It was clean. The person that I bought it from was very honest and genuine about it. So I did it, and you guys have seen I've shot with this a bunch and done so much video on this. So it's my little boy. I call it my son because I have a daughter. I have only one kid, a daughter. So I call the Leica my son. And I love this camera. I don't think I will ever sell it too. It's one of those cameras that I don't see myself ever selling. Probably buy an M6 at some point or another Leica body at some point and just give this to my daughter. So these are a few photos of. I feel like I've taken so many good photos with this camera so I'll just like pick some random photos to share with you guys. So that's the Leica M4P. All right, I feel like the video is dragging, but let's talk about this big boy here. So this is my Hasselblad 500 cm. Man, I freaking love this camera. I always say there are some cameras that I own that I really love, but there is just something about the Hasselblad 500 cm that, I don't know, it's more intimate and I love it. It's my first medium format and only medium format. When I decided to transition into medium format, the first medium format camera that my friend let me borrow is the RB67, given to me by my friend Tariq, an awesome photographer. If you do not know him, if you've never seen his work, this is his Instagram. Go check him out. You will come back and thank me. He's a master. So he gave me the RB67 to try out and see if I like medium format at all. The only thing is, I think that is the reason why I don't see myself ever owning an RB, because I had a terrible experience with it. I thought that the camera shutter has some problems where it wasn't accurate, or like it wouldn't go past 30th of a second or something like that. And so all the photos that I got with it didn't really turn out. I'll show you some of them. And so I had to return it back to Tariq, and RB67 was out of my zone. I didn't know the RZ at that time. And so the next medium format camera that I tried was the Fuji Gw645. Correct me if I'm wrong with the name, but also my friend Sean let me borrow that. I used it. It was more like a point and shoot medium format. I got some decent photos with it, but I also wasn't really drawn to it that much after using it. So I ended up giving it back to him. And then the next person, which was Dave, told me he had Hasselblad. He has the 500cm, and then he has the 503W. Also correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, Dave. And that he was selling his Hasselblad 500cm. So he gave it to me to try it, and I fell in love. He also gave it to me at a very, very, very affordable price at that point. Thanks again, Dave. You've done so much for me, so much. So I really do appreciate you, Dave. So yeah, I got the Hasselblad. I bought it from him. He let me borrow his 80, which is what I have on now. This is Dave's lens, but at that time when I bought it, he let me borrow it, shot it for a day, and I loved it. We went to the camera shop, and I bought myself a 50 because I think they had the 80 at that point, but I couldn't afford it at that point. The only one that my money could afford was the 50, which it's a love and hate. At some point I wanted to trade that in, but at some point I'm like, I want to keep it and buy an extra 80. But I've created some, I've created beautiful work with this camera. I've created some personal work that I really love, and I feel like I will show more than even 5 favorite photos that I've taken with this camera. I have 2 backs for it. I have the 6x6 back, and then I have the 645 back, but I don't use that much. But yeah, I have that. I want to get one more 6x6 back for it. I have 2 lenses for it. I have the 50 f4, and then I have the 150 f4, and then this is the 80 2.8 that belongs to Dave that I borrowed since last week, and I love this. It's either I'm going to buy it from Dave, or I'm going to find one and buy it when I have the money, because ever since I got it, it's basically all I shoot anymore, especially for portraits. Oh, it's just amazing. So yep, that's my Hasselblad 500cm. I also have, this is the waist level finder that is on it. I also have the what is it called, the prism for it, but I don't use the prism that much. Even though when I first got it, I wanted the prism because it flips. You know, if you know the Hasselblad 500cm, when you use the waist level viewfinder, everything is like flipped around, and so it was a little bit confusing when I'm using it to compose. But now I'm used to it, and then I don't even use the prism anymore. So that's it. These are some few photos from the camera. All right, and the very last camera, which I made a video about it not long ago, I think, yeah, this is my favorite camera of all time, and that's the truth. I freaking love it. I wish I could find a way of making, I mean, there are a few ways, but it's gonna be a little bit expensive, where it's like the flash on it is not that bright. And somebody commented on the video I made about it in the comments that I can have a slave light. So like when I'm using a strobe, or if I have a flash that is like has a slave function, I can add it to it, and then whenever the light goes off, it also goes off to put out more light, which I'll be making a video about that in the coming weeks, or I don't know when, but I would definitely make a video about that. And again, Dave, what have you done to me, Dave? Dave, we were supposed to go out and shoot, and Dave showed up at my place with a new camera that he's just bought. I think he said he bought it that very day. The person also added some film to it, and that was the day I made the video about my favorite camera of all time. So when I made that video, I didn't even own this. So he let me shoot it, and I freaking loved it. Like, I had never shot any Polaroid before, or any instant film before. I tried shooting some on my Hasselblad with the Hasselblad Polaroid back, but it didn't turn out. Those films are expensive, and also it's all like expired. So yeah, the fact that I took a photo and it came out and it showed up, the photo showed up right in my face. I mean, it's basically that's what film does, but like instant, I'd never, and I was blown away by the experience. So I came home again, went on the internet and started searching. I found one, but it was like an hour away, and I was willing to like drive an hour away to go get it, but the person wasn't very responsive. So a few days later, I found one on Facebook Market, and the person lived like literally not far away from here where I live. I went there and got it. I think I bought it for like $40 or so, and I freaking love this thing. I've shot, I think, 3 packs so far in this, and these are some of my favorite photos from it. And also the other camera that I own is my Fuji X-Pro 2 that I'm recording the video on right now. It's the only digital camera that I have, the only one that I use. And I've been shooting it more lately because I'm like, I tried shooting film for a whole year. That was the plan. I couldn't do it. I ended up shooting digital at some point again. So I'm like, I bought the X-Pro 2 for videos mostly, but it does very well in photos as well. So recently I've been, if you follow me on any of my Instagrams, you know I've been posting a lot of photos taken with the X-Pro 2. But yeah, these are all the cameras that I own. Mostly the ones I use a lot is the Hasselblad 500cm, and then my Leica M4P. That's like basically mostly the film cameras that I use. The Olympus zoom, like I said, it's like a camera that I pick up when we're going to like the restaurant to eat, or the supermarket, or grocery shopping, or when my little girl's friend comes around and I want to take photos of them while they are running around. Just pick this one up. But yeah, these two are broken. This is for my wife. I don't use it that much. And then this is just like a love camera that it's a special camera that I use it on special occasions. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, it's a video I didn't see myself doing, but I hope it's not that long. One more thing. I just got this in the mail, and it's from Zach. If you guys don't know Zach, it's Zach Park on Instagram. Zach Park Photography, I think, on Instagram. His Instagram is right here. I'll leave it here. I have bought, I think, 2 zines from him, and I love his work. You know, I just support people that freaking do well, and not like do well, but like put a lot of effort in whatever they do, and I love his work. And so anytime he put out anything out there, I should have gotten a knife for this, hold on. Anytime he put a zine out there, I just cannot wait to like grab on it. So recently he did a trip, I think he said out west, and he took a bunch of photos, which I was super excited to see. And I'm glad that he ended up making a zine out of it, because just seeing the photos on Instagram alone is, I feel like, nope, we need more than that. So thank you, Zach, for making this. I've not opened this, as you guys have seen. This is the first time. So this is it. I don't know if he is still having some running, but so I finished recording this video, and then I ended up just ended my video, went to go stop the camera, and I realized it has stopped recording. But anyway, what I was saying is, I am so glad that Zach made a zine out of the photos he got from his trip, and I'm super excited. These photos look so good, like so good. I'm going to leave his link in the description below. I don't know if he still have some available, but if he does, I'm going to leave the link in the description below. Go support him, go support Zach. And talking about Zach's zine, mine is still available. So if you like to go check that out too, link is going to be in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. But until then, go hit the street, be safe out there. Don't let gear come in your way. Use what you have. It's just a tool. I might end up having all of this, but at the end of the day, it's just a tool. Use what you have and create some beautiful photos and share with us all. And you don't forget, always create to inspire. See you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.